Hello.
Hello, you should feel real special. You're the first. So,
Oh, okay.
look
Well,
at that. Look how the
I
cookie crumbles.
expect red carpet rollouts for me coming up to you. Don't roll your eyes at me. Come on now.
This right here is a look, one for the
The
books.
debut of Daxton was unreal. Your social status has skyrocketed so much that now people hate you.
You used to make that face all the time.
Jaw on the ground. Pick it up.
And now my face is so relaxed. Oh my god. That's why popular people age better.
I obviously, I mean, I already told you how impressed I was with this season. Y'all keep getting better and better and more mature and all that stuff. But before we get into Never Have I Ever, I need to know about how you experienced the Great Rogers outage of 2022.
I didn't.
Like, 'cause
I
you were
was
in
in
LA.
LA. Well, my experience was just everyone like freaking out about it and like just getting random like messages from my cousins at like in like parking lots. At, like my one cousin went to like the Michael's parking lot. Yeah, and it was a lot of me. I'm gonna be honest, just saying, "Hat, not my problem. Sucks." So
Yeah. Well, listen, and again, like now we got to talk about like the thing, like third season Never Have I Ever. I remember the first time we talked about Never Have I Ever. I mean, first of all, we were celebrating that. Oh my God, there's a Tamil Canadian out there making it and representing us. But also, like you were kind of like the first brown teen of North American television, right? But I think, I mean,
I'm sure there are others,
but to have like a popular to really
but
break
to have like a lead role,
a lead role in
I
in
feel like
high
there's
school
very
series.
few. Like,
Yeah. But I mean, now you have company because you got these Bridgerton girls, you got Aman Vellani over at Disney Plus and Ms. Marvel and stuff. So I'm like, I guess the question is, y'all form a gang on Sunset yet? How does that work?
Why would he form a gang on Sunset?
She's like Brown Town up in LA, nothing like
No,
that.
no. I love all those guys. They're all great gals, and it's awesome to see that. It's all first of all three different genres, which is nice.
Mhm.
We got the superhero, we got the period pieces, and then we got Sherman Oaks. But yeah, no, it's really awesome to see that like this is slowly but surely happening. Like it actually is a thing that's coming up in film and TV, and there's more characters for brown girls to relate to. That's all I've ever wanted, right? Just different characters for people to relate to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then I think the success of Never Have I Ever still definitely probably facilitated that in some ways, right? And helped that.
Maybe
I think
hope.
so.
I mean,
We're
I think
gonna claim it.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to claim it as much as I'd like to hope that it was an inevitable outcome.
Nice. Okay.
That's what I would like to think.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's talk about, I mean, so I was saying like part of what really impressed me about the season, just how much more mature this show keeps getting and how much more confident you guys into like, in terms of the way you approach certain subject matter. So now I want to have a serious conversation.
Okay.
Because the serious conversation is about sex, which we talked jokingly about the first time around in season one. But this season, I mean, I'm thinking of the first episode where Maitreyi's feeling pressured to have sex. Sorry, not Maitreyi. Devi's feeling pressured to have sex. Sorry, must clarify that, right? And you have this moment where your mouth, your words are saying yes, but your body's saying no, and you're clenched up. And Paxton reads that and gets, backs off of that. And I just thought, like, initially I was like, wow, like, that scene kind of played lightheartedly and tenderly. But then I was like, wow, like that's kind of huge to have a male character reading body cues, because you know how often they're not even reading verbal cues, let alone body cues, and so it's like, so I wanted to know like what kind of conversations went into depicting that scene and how that kind of how reading the body cues and stuff is handled.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like reading the episode and just being so happy that like we were going to tackle this, because like how often do we get to see such a thing tackled on in general? Like how often do we get to see the main character, guy or girl, say like, oh, I'm actually not ready, and that's that, and they're not like shamed for it. What I love is exactly what you said, that Paxton got to read the body cues too, and it's a good example of what should happen in that situation, and he didn't shame her for it after. It was a sweet, tender moment after, and it's, if anything, you're more Team Paxton after that, if you will, right? 'Cause you're like, oh shit, like these guys are really cute together. They actually genuinely care about each other. He's looking out for her. She feels safe, When doing the scene, it's all about like, I remember making sure at the top of the scene, it's very much so like Davy's taking control, you know, she's very like in charge. We never want to depict it as Paxton's forcing her, putting her into this position, having this expectation of Davy, because the entirety of the episode, that expectation is completely fabricated in Davy's head. It's never given from Paxton. We always made sure to play it that it's never Paxton feeling like, oh, I want this, and I'm going to make sure Davy knows. Like, at the top of the scene, when they're making out, Davy's definitely in charge. It's still, like, fun. It's what they're comfortable with, both. You know, it's what Davy's comfortable with, until, you know, she's stressed, and he notices, and he's like, all right, it's cool. And it's not all about, nothing is ever making her feel bad about not being ready. That's, too, another thing that I really like. She's not made to feel bad, and she doesn't feel bad. She's actually at the end, she's like, yeah, like, we're better than ever. We're really, really good. That's wholesome as shit, you know?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And then, I mean, like you said, again, like, obviously, I'm not watching too many teen dramas or comedies. I mean, I'm watching this because of you, but I mean, the thing is, it's like, I certainly didn't grow up with any kinds of healthy depictions of sex in that way, and I don't think you would have either. I don't think you would have had.
To be honest, no, I think that's what made me really happy when I read the episode, because I was like, I would have killed to see something like this, you know, way back when. Like, this is, like, nice to know that Davy's not a freak, or that he's not a loser because of this. She's still the person that Paxton still very much so likes, and that she can still have this awesome, healthy relationship, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So then, like, you know, let's talk about once again in the opening episode, right? Like, I think actually, so it was probably like exactly almost like a year ago today where we were having a conversation about the online pressures you're dealing with, right? Like having the attention, the trolls, all the comments directed at you. And so it's interesting in this first episode. Now Davy walks into the hallway. She's really popular because she's with Paxton, and she's got to deal with the online opinions or not just online opinions and people's attention and everyone having their thing. And it's like, oh, she's got opinion. So talk to me about that intersection, about, like, you know, you dealing with that at that time, but also, like, you know, like you kind of coping with, like, the stress of it all, but also playing this character who's kind of coping with the stress of it all as well.
I guess I, like, never really thought about it like that, to be honest. While filming it, I think I very much so, I think for Davy, I think what's different between Davy and I in these situations is that for me, it was very much so like, oh my God, people are just like all of these opinions are just there, whether they're good or they're bad or they're backhanded compliments or whatever it was on the vast internet. I think for Davy, when I was doing those scenes and that, like, mind, like that headspace, for that, it was more about not actually really what Davy is hearing people think, but rather what she actually thinks herself. As Paxton calls out later, you know, in the episodes, it's not that she thinks other people don't think that they belong together. She doesn't think that they belong together. Right. For me, with my whole sitch, with the good old internet, the interwebs, it's just hearing those opinions. For Davy, that was more actually of an internal thing that she wanted to pretend was an everybody else problem, but really it was actually her problem.
Right. But then, I mean, like, reflecting on that, though, so, I mean, I'm wondering how much you internalize what you hear online. And I'm thinking of just the mental health aspect of it. Yeah. Because I imagine, like, look, with Davy, the way she responded to the things she was hearing and, like, the way those were reinforcing her own insecurities, it led to bad decisions. It led to Davy being destructive. Right. And so just like I feel like even with you don't want to react on what you're hearing online either, because you don't so I mean, how do you cope? How do you take care of your mental health? How do you unplug and dewire and make sure that these things don't affect you?
Man, muting notifications is so lovely, so sweet, so amazing. I think my phone is, like, mainly on do not disturb throughout, like, a day. I think on Instagram, I only have, like, notifications on for, like, certain people. And that's it. I, like, don't even get notifications for comments or likes or anything because I don't even want to see it. I don't want to keep track of it. Same thing with Twitter. And also just, like, keeping myself occupied with work, which is, like, another thing I guess we can say is not necessarily the most healthy because I am a workaholic. That's my realization this season. I have a work problem.
Right.
But
Are you Jaren's character in real life? Like you're gonna have that situation?
I hope not. That's so gross. That's so gross. No, I think to stay away from all of that to protect my mental health, it's keeping myself busy with work, or maybe then just going out with friends, or just being around people, like going out for food, so I don't take out my phone at the dinner table because that'd be rude, you know? Like doing things like that, or like going out to like hang out with somebody to whatever kind of event or whatever, or even just like taking a drive, because I can't, be texting and driving. I shouldn't be. Definitely don't do that. That's bad. So I'll just go on a drive because it forces me to not be on my phone.
Right. So, one thing I want to get to, by the way, is like, this, and I don't want to reveal how this season handles it, but there's a terrible brown auntie moment in this season, right? So no spoilers, but the terrible brown auntie thing, I think that's a thing. Even for me, like I remember my terrible brown auntie experiences that they would warn my own cousins to not hang out with me because he'll take you to a party or some shit like that. I want to know what is your terrible brown auntie moment? Do you have those?
I don't know if I really have one from any actual like literal aunties of like my family.
Well, auntie is a loose term in our community.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I was going there. I was getting there.
Okay,
I was getting there. Like I got familial, legit aunties to then branch out. I don't know if I've ever had like a straight up moment. Wait, maybe. Honestly, I know this about me. I know a lot of like aunties and uncles because they're just the same.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very loud, rambunctious, trucker mouthed kind of gal who isn't inclined in math or sciences. Growing up, it's very much so like that judgment of like, bougie kind of vibe. And because I'm just very loud and like open, just minded, and I speak my mind. Many a times I will get like just some like glares and judgment, or just like undertones in conversation of like, you are not a lady. I often get that. That never really fazed me though. I feel like I've never had an upright confrontation either, because like I think they're too scared to say anything.
Right. Well, and then I think we could flip this the other way, because the opposite of the terrible brown auntie in this season is also the wonderful mom, the supportive, protective mom, which I think you could experience.
And that I can definitely relate to. I think because though I am this rambunctious, loud child, I have an awesome mom that if any auntie or uncle even tried to pull something with me, they wouldn't bother, because it's not even like they're going up against me. They have to also go up against my mom and my dad and my brother. So like because the close family is so close, it's like don't even bother. If you don't like me, just mosey on. It's fine. Who cares?
Yeah, well, and here's the thing I want to talk about, like, because I was having this conversation with someone else earlier too. Is like, this is the kind of the year of the Asian mom in terms of movies and television, right?
Yeah.
Think of Turning Red, the character voiced by Sandra Oh. I don't know if you watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which is
4 times, buddy.
You've watched it 4 times? Holy crap! Of course, that's your yeah. So
come on, that's my jam.
Is it like what do you when you're observing this year, and also the Mom and Miss Marvel, like this year of like depicting supportive brown mothers or Asian moms, are you noticing that trend now? Is it just a moment we're living in?
I think honestly, I don't think it's necessarily a trend, because I think all of those moms that were just mentioned are all very different characters, I think the two biggest things that make them similar is A, they're Asian, and then B, they love their kid. Like in every single one of those examples, they just love their kid, and like none of them hate their kid. So that's good. And they're Asian, but they're all very different. Like I wouldn't think Ming from Turning Red is similar to Nalini. Sure, like there's moments, yes, but they're two different characters. Nalini to Michelle Yeoh's character in Everything Everywhere All at Once, Devlin, completely different, but also what's refreshing on another level is that one is someone who can go through a multi-dimensional world and, change things at her will of her mind. One can turn into a giant red panda, and one's a dermatologist.
Right.
They're all very different, and I think that's amazing. I feel like it's a disservice to call it a trend. I think it's just, yet again, the natural, inevitable way things were going to go. And I'm very delighted that they're all different, because it's the same idea as having different brown girl characters show up. Moms deserve good representation too.